Okay, so here we're seeing a cantilevered balcony. This is a three-dimensional view. And what we see here is a typical balcony where the joists are sistered in with the existing framing. And that's what you see up here. You see this joist, which runs continuously to the exterior of the balcony, is sistered. And when we say sistered, you can see there's a double joist connection. These are bolted or nailed together. And then the joist cantilevers out. This is the cantilever of the span. This is the overhang, if you will. We call it the cantilever. And when we do a balcony inspection, what we're looking for is to see if this part, specifically this connection in here, we're looking to see whether or not has that deteriorated. Does it have dry rot? Because if it does, then what will happen is that this portion of the balcony will deflect. So what we do is when we show up, we will shoot elevations at various points from here to here, and we'll measure the elevation here, compare it with the elevation here, and it will tell us, if we look at it from a cross-section point of view, if the balcony is actually doing this. And there are rules on what this deflection, I use the term delta, are acceptable. There's a ratio. We know that the balcony has to slope away from the building. This is my building line. Here's my building. We know that it should be sloping this way, but there's a maximum slope. And when we do the survey, the floor level survey, we are measuring an elevation here and we're measuring an elevation here to see if we're exceeding that maximum slope. That's part of the inspection process. Then we come back and we look at this connection, and that's where if we find that it exceeds the maximum slope, then we have to expose this connection and we have to see whether or not, what's the condition of the wood. Is it in good condition? Is it dry rotted? What's the condition of the wood out on the edge here? And then, of course, we also have to look at these railings. And balconies are used for all kinds of reasons. People don't really understand that a balcony is not designed for permanent exposure, or permanent dwelling, if you will. And here's an example. Now, this is a very beautiful balcony. What they've done, they've put this lawn in here, they've got these plants and everything. But they actually will cause their own problem, because if this is an artificial turf, then we're fine, but it doesn't look like an artificial turf, and these look like real potted plants. So this water, where does it go? It's going to seep down through this system, and if this balcony doesn't have waterproofing, the water is going to cause dry rot. It's going to cause termites. So even though it looks beautiful, and yeah, I love it, it's not such a great idea. Unless you plan for it, which is put a waterproofing membrane in. Make sure your balcony is strong enough to handle that extra load, because otherwise you're going to get this condition. And this is an example. We opened this up at a certain balcony, and what you're seeing here is the effect of dry rot. And you can't see it from the outside. When you open it up is when you see what is going on. And you can see that it's definitely got problems. And you can't fix this. You've got to take this wood out. Because even if we, this is obviously very bad. And when we remove the rest of this, you see that it gets worse. So water is your biggest enemy.